we needed to come up with something. And our board got together and we just said, well, it's a new beginning for a new future for all these young docs that are coming to hear about our philosophy. And as they, came down here and learned about it, we continued doing this 2, then 3, and we had meetings 3 times a year, 4 times a year. And there's been a solid group of people that have been on the program, that have been up here sharing from their heart, from their love, and their understanding of chiropractic. Today, what we're going to do right now is honor one more of the people that I think are one of the greats that has helped us with our profession, to help it grow. But before I even do that, it's called the New Beginnings Lifetime Achievement Award. And we started it back in 2012. First recipient was Jim Sigafus back in 2012, along with Sid Williams. So you can see there's 2 powerhouse chiropractors from back in the day. In 2013, Reggie Gold got it, and Chuck Ribley. So you can see there's some powerful, powerful people. 2014, Pat Sarasoli, and in 2014, Tom Gilardi. So along the lines here, some incredible people, followed by, in 2015, Ernie Landy and Fred Barge. In 2016, Guy Reekman. 2017, Dee Dee Umber, Joe Strauss, and this year we're honoring one of our own, Dr. Tony Demarco. This particular award, when we fill it up, we're going to donate it to one of the colleges to be hung in perpetuity so that others can look at it and see some of the names. The faces may disappear and they get a little older and can't necessarily get out here, but the name on a plaque at a college, when that person goes there and can see it with some of these greats, is incredible. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up a couple people just to say a few words. Jay, Kathy Han, would you come up, please? These are board members from New Beginnings.
So I was really thinking about what to say to you, Tony, and I spoke to a few people today. So this is not just from me. This is from a lot of people that I spoke with who all have the same sentiment. You are the unsung hero in chiropractic. You're a gentle giant, and you walk very quietly, but you make huge changes in our profession. Being on the state board for all those years, helping life when it desperately needed a helping hand. Thank you for that. And for New Beginnings, for being an amazing speaker, an amazing chiropractor, so many years in practice, and having the most amazing family who are all sitting here now. And for Sue, for
putting up.
I love you, Sue, and for putting up with him all those years too. But I'll tell you when I fell in love with you is when we were making wine.
Because imagine that.
Can you imagine that? Because that's when I got to really know Tony. Yeah, because it wasn't at a meeting and it wasn't in the hallways. It was just getting to know you. And I love you. And you want to say something?
Me too. Now, I can only echo what Kathy said. We've known each other probably since 1975 when I was a student. And, we've grown up through chiropractic. We've grown up through New Beginnings. I'm not crying. I had a frog in my throat. We've grown up through New Beginnings and through all the trials and tribulations and trying to wrangle Dubell into doing certain things. Tony's actually been my partner in crime because the only way we can get Jim to do anything is if we gang up on him. And we got about a 40% chance of it working. So, but even with that 40% chance, New Beginnings is New Beginnings. So I thank you. I appreciate you. Love you and your family. And here's to the next, 25 years here together.
Sit down. Bill Henry, another board member.
I moved out here in September of 1991 because my future wife wanted me to come out. And she was associated with Jim Dubell. I soon became associated with Jim Dubell, and we talked about this thing that he was doing, that he'd been doing for a long time and making it big. And one of the things that excited me about being out here was the fact that this state especially was a hot blood of chiropractic and a hot blood of true chiropractic. And one of the visionaries of that, I learned, because I didn't know about him till I got here, was this man right here, who stood up for chiropractic, the real chiropractic, for many, many years. And so we're very excited that he was with us and still with us, and that I'm still part of this thing. Tony, thank you so much for everything.
Sam Slimo, another board member.
Anthony. When I think of Tony Demarco, I think of, this isn't the past, I'm not talking about the past. He's a man of integrity, loyalty, love, family man. You know, Tony and I have a lot of chats in the hallways, and I've learned a lot from Tony through the years. First of all, how to be calm, because Tony's calm. Sam, don't get too excited. He's always like this. Don't get too excited. Okay, we'll figure it out. You know, I can't believe you don't stay calm. So Tony, you're my calming sea. Kim and I often talk about you and Sue and the rest of the board members, how this is family. This is what, look at this row. These are all Tonys. Okay, I love you. Kim loves you. Thank you for being you.
Bob and Evelyn Tarantino.
Tony, I've known you since you were a student. You came to the office, listened to Bob's lecture, and took whatever parts you wanted. I'm proud to say we're friends, and congratulations on the award.
That took a lot. I got to tell you, she doesn't talk, except when she wants to get mad at me, then she talks a lot. So Anthony. First of all, Anthony was not in Florida. He's tan, like I can't believe how tan he is. He said, I was just standing outside. He gets tan like in a heartbeat. Tony and I go back a long time, dude. Before all of you little people, before you big people, you were just gleams in mommy and daddy's eyes. We fought a lot of battles together, Tony and I, on the Board of Examiners in the state of New Jersey. It was tough. I'll tell you why it was tough, because we were the only people on that board that stood up for chiropractic and tried to keep it on the straight and narrow and keep it into a subluxation concept profession. We had our failures, but we had some hell of a good fights over the years, Tone. And I want to let you know how much I appreciate and love you and Susan and being a part of my family for 35, 40 years. Love and appreciate you, Tony.
I want to bring up a couple special people. Walter Schilling, come up for a moment.
Hey, how you doing? You Italian? You Italian? Oh, okay, just checking. I know Tony probably as long as I said, know Tony as long as I'm alive, I think. No, not quite that long. And I learned a lot from him. And I've supported him over all these years as a second in command. I was always there to back him up. And one thing he taught me, he's 100% dedicated to three things: God, his family, and chiropractic. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. He's just been on so many damn things. He was Garden State Chiropractic Society. That's where I think our relationship really started. SCASA, FSCO, the board, New Beginnings, Life, ADIO, and he doesn't quit. Oh, maybe now he'll quit. Maybe it's time for him to relax. But one thing's for sure, his name belongs on that list as much as anybody else up there. And I love you a lot, and Barbara loves you too.
Thank you, Walter. Irene, can you come up for a minute? Irene Gold.
I met Tony as a student. I was a student. I was a senior student. He was a freshman. We went to the same school, Columbia Institute of Chiropractic. Dr. Napolitano hired me to be a teacher, so he was a student in my class. That's where we first met. So we go back to 1973. 1973. And he's been in practice all of these years, always been an advocate of the same things that I approve of. Therefore, he's a great guy. He's for straight chiropractic. He never went anyplace else. He never introduced anything into his office that shouldn't be there, and include much of the stuff you guys do. He doesn't do it. He does chiropractic, and that's why he deserves to be up here.
Thank you, Irene. Before I continue with the program, we're going to show a few pictures on the screen. This is Anthony Demarco. Look at those suspenders, huh? Look at that. Handsome guy. Had a full head of hair back then. He's about the same height, though. Next picture. You got the next? Oh, there. Whoa. I'll tell you what, I hate to say his son Anthony looks, the similarities in his grandson, they all look alike, and he's got those same pants today. Next picture. There he is. Now, believe it or not, that's Tony back there, and that's little Anthony. Look at this. I think he's got those shorts, too. That's your bathing suit? Yeah, you look good there, buddy. You look good. Where's that, the lake? Your grandfather's place. Okay, surprised you can remember back that far. Let's get another picture. Okay, I'm not going to explain this one because I really don't know. Where's Susan? Susan, well, she has no idea. Leg wrestling, there you go. Got the same shirt I got on. Okay, next one. Now, there you go. There's an Anthony Demarco. It's a young man with his Doberman Pinscher behind him. Great pictures. Hope they bring back some memories. Another one. There he is with his pop. That's your dad, right? That's his dad. Look at him. You look like you just got off the boat. It's like a pop. I'm gonna come here. He said, "What are you doing here, Tony? Look at you. Look at the look he's giving him. You do a stinky." Next one. All right, now, you got to look here to see Tony because he's thin, he's fit, he's a handsome guy, he's right over here. That's him. At least I think that's him. And this is when he was in the service, one more of those things. You got to realize, during this time, guys, 1970, before that, Vietnam was going on. This guy didn't back away from it. He stood up to it. Another thing that we didn't even mention. Next slide. There, that's Mom, your cousin, and that's you. And you notice he's stylish with that shirt. Got it open, got the little Italian look, so got a little chest hair showing. You're looking good there. Susan, you married him? There's an eye doctor convention downstairs. Well, another picture, please. Don't ask me, who's the guy next to you? Uncle Petey. Oh, that's Uncle Pete. That was right before he got arrested, right? Okay. And there's look at Tony there. Got that look. Handsome devil that he is. I think we got one more, right? Or two more? Yeah, look at this. And what's he doing? A keg of wine, a barrel of wine, right? They're tapping it. Yeah. Is that Marissa? Oh, my goodness. Okay, here we go. Now, there's Tony. That's Susan? God, you were good looking. You still are, you still are. And that's Gabe Ricciardi. True story, Gabe Ricciardi got the first PHC award we ever gave. And that was back in 90s. Was it before we named it New Beginnings, or 89? What? 91. Okay, so that was Gabe. Okay, here's Tony. And who are you with? That's Anthony? He was an Eagle Scout? Wow, look at this. Look at those handsome guy. That's the office, right? That's not your old office? That's the Knights of Columbus? Okay, it's someplace. Okay, there's a good pose. Now he's starting to look like the Anthony we know. Slow down with those slides, will you, buddy? I'm not done talking. Go. No, you can go to the next one. There we go. Now, this is the family. I guess that's the 3 kids. And they're, I don't know where they are, but it's not Forked River. And who? Anguilla, wherever she might be. Turn the next slide, please. There's the 3 little ones. He made good-looking kids. You did too, Susan. Next. And that's a catacomb in, well, you can read that yourself, okay? One of his daughters started to look like the real Tony DeMarco. And here we go with the whole family. And they just, you notice they keep multiplying. Okay, next I think there's one more. Oh, Santa DeMarco. There's Anthony at the house giving out Christmas gifts to the grandkids. Next slide. And here he is, a couple of his army buddies. Tone, those are the guys you served with, right? And that'll bring some memories back. Next one, there's his house in Forked River with the grandchildren. Next, down on the beach. That's cute. Next one, please. Now, there's the family. That's one of the newest. We got them all in there, or we're missing one? Missing 2. The grandkids are as busy as you. Or yeah, whatever. Your kids. Look at the cheeks on these 2. Next. There he is. Anthony DeMarco. I think, is that it? This is the guy we're here to honor. And now, without further ado, I'm going to bring up his kids and grandkids to say something just for a minute. Guys, everybody up here. Everybody, come up. Just watch your step on the carpet and just... They're all just going to say a few little things. These are all the little DeMarcoettes. Susan, I want you to introduce everybody, and they're going to go one at a time to say something. Thank you.
All of them? All of them? Okay. This is our oldest daughter, Marissa, and her husband and our son-in-law, Gabriel. And this is their youngest, Naomi, and their oldest, Francesca. And the next one is my son, Anthony. Well, his son, too. And his wife and our daughter-in-law, Emily, is on the end, and they have 3 kids. Anthony's holding Nathaniel, and this is Aniela, and this is Anthony Peter, named after his grandpa. And over there holding the baby, that's our youngest daughter, Christina, her husband, Patrick, our son-in-law. And they have 2 kids. This is Serafina and Stella. And we are truly, truly blessed. So I guess I pass it.
Okay. I'm not used to speak. I'm not used to speaking in front. I have notes. When your dad is a chiropractor, your dad isn't just a chiropractor. You're a chiropractic family. That's what we were and what we still are, with a few more members than there used to be. I'd like to give you a glimpse of what life was like for us as children in a chiropractic family. Dad coming home in a tuxedo with a stack of cocktail toothpicks for us kids to play with meant that he was at a governor's ball or other political function fighting to advance the profession of chiropractic. Dad coming home with airport gifts meant that he was away for a few days inspecting and advising the institutions that were training the next generation of chiropractors. Getting to empty the money box on the wall on Friday nights and count the contents with my mom meant that my father prioritized helping people get healthy and stay healthy, and had faith that our needs would always be provided for. Sneaking down into the waiting room with my siblings in our pajamas after office hours on Friday nights to steal a Dunkin' Donut meant that my dad was having monthly philosophy meetings with like-minded chiropractors. It meant that he wasn't content with just running a business. He was committed to this life and willing to join with others for support and to work together for a common goal. The constant flow of baked goods from the office into my kitchen meant that he was beloved because he genuinely wanted to help people. People can sense genuine, and people knew that my dad truly cared. Family field trips, and as homeschoolers, there were many. usually meant a quick stop on the way, or sometimes out of the way, for Dad to make a house call and adjust someone while we waited in the car. Once or twice, those adjustments even took place on the side of the road on a portable table. Patients we called aunt and uncle, patients that my parents went on regular double dates with, patients whose daughters became our favorite babysitters. All those things meant that this wasn't just a job or a business for my dad. It was care, trust, and connection with other human beings. It was family. As we got older, there were family road trips to Sherman, where my now husband really started his initiation into the world of straight chiropractic. There were fire walks at New Beginnings, where my husband brought his college roommate, who wanted to know why everyone kept hugging him. Then there were college graduations, weddings, and grandchildren announced on the message board in the waiting room because my dad wanted to share his joy with the people he cared for. It's been a career to be proud of, but the real reason I'm proud of my dad is because of his character. He taught me not to judge others, to always be brave enough to do what is right, to question the status quo, to enjoy the beauty around us. He taught me that families spend time together because he was always around. I can hardly remember a place, an activity, a trip, or even a day at home when he wasn't there. He taught me that sometimes people will do you wrong, but that's not a good reason to stop doing what's right. And isn't that what chiropractic is at its core? Putting things back to right? Most people measure a career in years, but I think it should be measured in the number of lives that you touch. My dad's willingness to put his whole life and his whole self into caring for others has made that number immeasurable.
You said you were afraid to follow me. I'm afraid to follow you after that. Jeez. Hey, bud. You want to say something? Okay. Good job. So I have some notes too, and I'll try to do this. But talking about my dad as a chiropractor, as a kid growing up, brings a couple of different memories for me. My dad as a chiropractor gave me my first job. I would get up in the morning while he was still in bed, and I would vacuum, dust, clean the office, take the trash out, get it ready for him to start the day. And for all of this, he paid me $5 a week. I think I got the short end of the stick on that one. Similar to what my sister was saying, my dad, growing up as a chiropractor for us, he was at dinner with us every single day. No matter what was going on, he was there. Now dinner was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because of the office hours, right? But that's how we made it work as a family. Every day he was there with us. Now, after dinner, he'd go upstairs and take a 45-minute nap before he went back to work. But as a kid, I remember thinking, man, I'd love to be able to take a nap in the middle of the day when I grow up, and that still doesn't really happen much. So. But my dad also used to tell me about when he was in school, what it was like going to school, getting his license, going through all of that. And one of my favorite stories that he told was when they had to do a human dissection. And he said, they brought us all into this room, sterile room, bunch of cadavers on gurneys with sheets over them. And professor walked us in and he said, pick up the sheet. If you know them, move on to the next. Now, to this day, I have no idea how true that story is or not, but it was equal parts funny and horrifying for me as a child. So, but, I remember growing up also, our friends, they would say, well, your dad's not a real doctor. But I knew that my dad was. I knew that my dad cared for people's physical health. He helped them get better. And in many ways, he was more of a doctor than a traditional physician because he was treating the root cause of the illness, not just the symptoms, right? And he was proud of us. My sister talked about that as well. There were always pictures of us up in his office, our life events on the bulletin board for everybody to see. He engaged with his patients about his family, talked to them about them, and they talked to him about theirs. My dad, as a chiropractor, gave me an understanding of the value of hard work and the value of faith. Faith in God, faith in people. I watched him build his business. He sacrificed so many things so that he could do things his way, the way that he thought was right. For years, again, my sister talked about the box on the wall. It's another enduring memory, right? A box on the wall with a little slot on it. Pay what you can pay. Pay what you feel it's worth. That's who my dad was. No set fees, no was, sorry, is. I'm not allowed to use past tense. Right? But, he had that belief in other people. He had that belief and that confidence in himself and that belief in God that he would take care of us. So even at a young age, I knew he just wasn't doing a job for a job. He was doing it because he wanted to help people and he wanted them to live better lives. So, I've watched my dad as a chiropractor through the worst parts of people's lives. He was involved and there for them when all they could do to afford to pay him was to bake for him. My sister talked about all the goodies that we used to get. A lot of those were because that's all people could afford to give. And I never heard my dad complain or be upset about it once. I would watch him pour his soul into his patients. People have been coming to him for 30 plus years, people who he went to their weddings, funerals, other life events for them and their children. He wasn't just their chiropractor, he was their friend, and he cared deeply for them. Over the years, we've talked about how one day when he's going to retire, how he feels about that, and I've watched him internally struggle with the thought of that and the thought of eventually winding down his practice because he wouldn't be able to be there for his patients. And that's something really special. That's, again, who my dad is. He's the best man I know. He's been the best man I'll ever know. He loves deeply and fiercely, and he taught me how to do the same thing. So I pray every day that I can be the man for my family that he has been for his, and for so many people whose lives he's impacted, people in this room, people around the world. So you're not going to meet another one like him. If you know him, you know that's true. If you don't know him, I would encourage you to get to know him. You won't be sorry. So congrats, Dad. Love you. Proud of you. Here, you want to say something? Okay.
Well, that's from the Demarco family. Heartfelt. Babs, could you come up here for 1 second with me?
I don't have any words. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of the life that you have brought us through, a journey, integrity, faith, loyalty. I am just so blessed that God put you in my path and that we got married and we did all of this. And it's beautiful. I love you, honey.
Well, from Babs and I, honestly, I asked Sue to say something, and she said no. And that was better than most, so thank you so much. Babs, I asked her to say something. Can you say one thing? I'm putting you on the spot.
I love you, Tony. You know I love you. Thank you for being a very good friend to us, you and Susan. If there were more people in the world like the two of you, the world would be a much better place. Thank you for being you.
Well, here we are at the end of this particular session. This guy deserves it more than anybody else. The people at Life better understand that they were going to close Life's doors. So Tony Demarco stepped up, walked in there with a group of other people from the States and said, oh, this is okay. What do they want? He was the chairman who said, we're going to pass Life for its accreditation. One man did it right there, Tony Demarco. Okay? Sherman College. We'll talk about Sherman. When ADIO started and we had Sherman and Tom Gilardi and all, he was right there with Susan. Susan was driving all the way to Philadelphia to teach microbiology for the students. So talk about a family that's principled, okay? When Reggie called, she was there, and Tony was there supporting the school. So you wouldn't have Sherman, ADIO, and anybody who went to those schools without the DeMarcos. So thank you for that. New beginnings, when I put this board together, we were looking for a group of guys, and we were looking for somebody like a Bob Tarantino would make you smile and laugh, a Bill Henry that was always there, loyal and being there, a Sam Slima who was our muscle, would unload the trailers and get us here, and then a Tony DeMarco who's the heart of New Beginnings, right? There was a group of us, and we put this thing together, Babs and I, and Jay and Kathy. Jay was, I'm remiss, Jay, Jay was our businessman putting the thing together. And I forgot Ernie, too. Ernie Landy. But anyway, Ernie's not here. I can forget him. When we put this together, Tony was the emphasis and truly became one of my best friends in chiropractic, where when there's an issue going on and the hotel's charging us $75 for an outlet, and I call Tony all pissed off, and Tony, and he goes, calm down, Bell, just calm down. Let Nate handle it. And you've done that for me for the past 30 years. I call you a true friend from my heart. So from Babs and I, everyone here, the board and all, we appreciate you, we love you, or our love, loyalty, and friendship to you and to Susan. God bless. Tony DeMarco, everybody up! Mambo Italiano, go, go, go. You mixed up a Siciliano.